The Magic Show is brought to you by StarCityGames.com. On Saturday, February 23rd, the Magic Show will be coming to you live from the Star City Games $5,000 Standard Open in Charlotte, North Carolina. This event is open to everyone and it's expected to be huge, so make plans to attend and I'll see you there.
Hi, I'm Anton Rule. Welcome to the Magic Show.
And the world is made of energy, and the world is electricity, and the world is made of energy, and there's a lot inside of you, and there's a
Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of the Magic Show. This week we're going to discuss the incredible return of Jon Finkel, the fallout from Wizards players meeting and what it means for the future of organized play, the allure of Shadowmoor, a few words on tomorrow's live updates, and more. Let's go! Wow. I tell you guys, it was not only thrilling but also fascinating to catch the top 8 live via Wizards' own webcast. Seeing as I was actually there for Valencia and never caught Yokohama or Geneva, this was a really cool and interesting experience. You know you're a hardcore Magic nerd when you stay up until 5 in the morning watching the best in the world play. By far the most interesting and lucky bit was Wizards focusing on Jon Finkel during the draft portion. Not only did we get to watch the greatest player this side of Kai drafted the top 8 of a Pro Tour, he turned in an absolutely brilliant draft and won the whole thing to boot. The keys to this draft were 2 picks. The first was a 3rd pick summon the school. Now, I don't know about you, but that says bring on the merfolk, and that's exactly the way that Jon drafted it until he tabled the gold medal stalwart. Then he made a choice. Instead of what I would consider 90% of the PTQ players in the world would do, which is simply take the Amoeboid Changeling and move on, Jon realized that Kithkin were being left wide open and they got some of the best and most powerful cards in Morningtide. So into Kithkin he went, and the rest is history. Here's a play I'd like to feature for you from the finals. Just look at this genius. From the official coverage. Quote, on his next turn, Pascoli decided the time was right to send in his seething Pathblazer, and Finkel eventually decided to double block with his Kithkin Harbinger and Skirmisher. Before first strike damage, Pascoli sacrificed his Soulbright Flamekin and his Banneret to pump the Pathblazer up. Now that Pascoli had sacrificed half his team, Finkel decided to coordinate a barrage the Pathblazer. That's a 3-for-1 there, kids, and you don't find too many people coming back from that at this stage in the game. A 3-for-1 in the finals of a Pro Tour. He's not the best for nothing, folks. Jon drafted 5 times a day for the past 2 weeks, honing his skills and losing only a single match all day long. Wow, now that's a record. What are the takeaways here? Firstly, in order to be the best, you have to be able to read the signals. And here was a signal in pick 9 that determined the fate of the entire Pro Tour. Most players stop looking at or for signals around pick 5. So pay attention to what tables and what good cards are coming a bit too late. Another takeaway is how good archetypes become when you add the second set. As we're about to go through this cycle all over again, I'm sure you'll find in Shadowmoor that one archetype or another is incredible and another is awesome if, quote, you get the nuts. We all knew how nuts the Kithkin deck was in Triple Allure 1 if you got the nuts. If you didn't, you were ran over by more synergistic beatdown strategies like Goblins or Elves. Thanks to Morningtide, however, you may now draft those little white buggers with reckless abandon and enjoy the power of a mini Sarah Angel and the versatility of the reinforce mechanic. Mosquito Squad for the win! Congratulations once again to Jon for going all the way. It's not only a fascinating and awesome story, it's an inspiring one. Magic is like riding a bike. Well, it's more like flying a plane, where the cockpit keeps changing from year to year. But hey, at least we upgraded from the Homeland Cessna to the Lore 1 Jumbo Jet, right? I love metaphors. So these past few weeks have just been a long stream of articles, opinions, ideas, and solutions to the, quote, restructuring of organized play. This seemed to culminate in Rich Hagan's article, This Isn't Star Trek, where he akins the loss of Spock to the loss of a Pro Tour, where the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the elitist few. He also portrays the Magic the Gathering Players Union as an invite-only club where the best of the best argue for who takes home the most money. Rich says, and I quote, "Because ultimately what Magic lacks and the players driving the union would really like is a room full of stupid people with lots of money. They want a game where said room full of stupid rich people pay lots of money for the rich to test themselves against the very best and the very best to take the stupid rich people's money." While it may not have been 100% clear in episode 81, I am indeed a Players Union member and official representative. I've chosen to align myself with the good folks who are in charge of this group precisely because I don't want it to be seen as some elitist crap that doesn't mean anything to the guy struggling in F&M. The union is simply a mouthpiece for the community at large, something I try to bring every week here on the show, but with the Players Union we can speak to Wizards directly about pressing issues regarding each group. F&Mers want incentives, they want foils, they want better prize support for those who don't win, they want to keep the fun and camaraderie paramount. Pros want just the opposite. They want relentless competition, cutthroat payouts, and better prize support for both the effort and lifestyle required to be a professional Magic player. In order to bridge this gap, you have to have representatives from both sides, and that's just what's happening here. For those who choose to simply cast aside the Players Union as some pro's wet dream, let me assure that I hope to capture Wizards' attention there just as much as I do here, and to talk directly to them about what most concerns you. In fact, Wizards did have a player meeting in Kuala Lumpur where they addressed many important issues. The key to the meeting was this: States has failed. Only 3 to 4% of tournament players actually went to States or played in the Junior Super Series, and that, my friends, is a frighteningly low number. My favorite theorem as to why that is comes from our own Ben Blywis. He notes that because over the years, there suddenly were 3 champs or States titles, one for Standard, Two-Headed Giant, and Limited. The position and pride of being the, quote, state champ was greatly diminished. Quite simply, they didn't make it cool or unique enough. They diluted the brand of being a state champ by making 3 contests. In the official Wizards article, they do what I like to call the corporate tap dance shuffle. In this exercise, they explain that they're listening, they feel you, but in the end, specifics are just not possible. Here's my favorite bit. Quote, "While Wizards certainly can't make financial promises about future seasons that haven't been budgeted for yet, it's possible that a schedule could be worked out that might allow players to know when these announcements were coming. This way, much like format changes or set rotations, players would know ahead of time when they'd be getting the announcements for each season. This idea came up during the meeting, and though it wasn't clear yet whether Wizards could actually commit to it, Chris said they'd look into the possibility." Wizards basically explains that they get their budget sometime around 11 p.m. on December 31st, and by the stroke of midnight, they've shuffled around the Pro Players Club levels again to attain balance. I'm being facetious, but the point remains that for pro points to actually mean something, you're going to need to get these schedules in place and keep them in place through some part of the following season. Remember, these Pro Players Club levels and their stability affect those that aren't on the tour. For someone to commit him or herself to attaining those levels, they'll need a guarantee that the support will be there. Saying that in December, top-tier pros will need to hold their breath as come January things could be turned upside down again is not a good idea in my opinion. For starters, I'd say that Wizards should guarantee a date in which these new changes are announced. Seems simple enough. Secondly, I would request they look into guaranteeing Pro Players Club benefits for at least the first 6 months of the upcoming season. Again, I realize that these people are statistical freaks. They are not the guys who grind it out every week at the local shop, but they are the biggest and brightest stars that Magic has, and I think it's important to at least try and keep them informed and involved. But what to do about the grassroots? Wizards appears to be looking for the answer into getting asses and seats and new players in the game. What causes this? Is it new player rewards programs? Is it Magic Online, which, as the Ferret rightly pointed out, could make Cardboard Magic a victim of its own success? Is it foils? I heard the other day about a CCG giving the winner of a huge tournament a completely foiled version of their deck. Can you imagine how popular this would be in Magic? It sounds silly, I guess, but I thought it was pure genius. What if you could win the tournament and get all those polluted deltas, Tarmogoyfs, and Sensei's Divining Tops foiled for you? Even if you restricted the tournament to Standard, I think I'd be more than happy with some foiled Garriks and Chameleon Colossus and Mutavaults as my prize for winning. Keep your cash, boys. You gave me something just as good as money and much, much cooler. You would still be giving away thousands of dollars in product, depending on the deck, of course, but the uniqueness and style of the prize would make make it incredibly popular. If a tournament organizer ever wanted to break attendance records, that's the prize I would suggest. Anyway, this issue has been taking over the entire Magic community these past few weeks, and solutions are needed. If you know of a good way to get new people involved and get the tournament scene supercharged, let's hear it. Okay, now no one's surprised that I've been paying attention to cards like Dolmen Gate. Shadowmoor is a dark lore one. The book calls this event the Aurora. Personally, I see it as the, wait for it, poisoning of Lorwyn. Yes, you see in Mark Rosewater's most recent article, I could practically see him giggling as he wrote 3 enticing paragraphs about what may or may not be in store for us come April. He gives us lots of hints about Shadowmoor and its recently announced follow-up, Eventide. These 2 blocks will bring us, quote, all new themes, meaning this won't be an enchantment block or an artifact block or even a graveyard-based set, as many had guessed. As for my theory, I've already mentioned it. Shadowmoor block will focus on poison. As Ben Bly was noted last year in his 5 Ways to Fix Green article, only the Time Spiral Swamp Mosquito actually includes the rules text about losing the game from 10 poison counters. Every other creature with poison or poisonous as virulent sliver features does not explain the condition of your opponent losing the game due to 10 poison counters. In his article, Mark promises, quote, I'm going to make the bold statement that in my opinion the Shadowmoor Eventide draft environment is going to be the most dynamic thing you have ever seen. Would this be because suddenly you'll have another column on your life total sheet that tracks poison counters? We'll see. Other theorems include the return of split cards, which would allow wizards to include all of the creature types in Lorwyn and show them change shape into something else. A goblin that turns into a Kithkin, perhaps? Maybe not. Either way, he promised 2 cards from Future Sight will be in Shadowmoor. The obvious choice is Mist Meadow Skulk, as the Gold Meadow turns into the Mist Meadow, but the other is destined to be the real defining card of Shadowmoor. Will it be the poisonous Snake Cult Initiation, or perhaps the Transfigure mechanic seen on Fleshwrither? I guess we'll see. Alright, boys and girls, this weekend is it. The $5,000 standard open is upon us, and it's going to be a monster. Every Magic player I know is either going or lamenting about how they can't go, and it's time to figure out what you want to play, get that deck list written down, and be prepared for the best event this side of the Atlantic. The Magic Show will be updating StarCityGames.com with live updates throughout the day. But this isn't just a random string of updates. This weekend you'll be following the story of 3 Magic players as they try and make the top 8 and ultimately take home the lion's share of the $5,000 prize. Who are the players, how will their story be told, and what else is in store for the live updates? You'll see first thing tomorrow. Keep it tuned to the Magic Show, peeps, and thanks again for your awesome support. The Magic Show is nothing without Magic players just like you, watching, commenting, emailing, and cheering it on. So until tomorrow, Magic players, when you see me and the Magic playing populace slinging cards in Charlotte, this is Evan Irwin tapping the cards so you don't have to.